Hey, welcome back as we continue our positional rankings for the 2022 NFL draft class. I'm ready to go, man. This is going to be a ton of fun, and we're going over the sexiest of sexy positions, being the defensive interior line. But first, what's crack-a-lackin'? I'm your boy Broshmo, just in case you did not know, so go ahead, become a bro and subscribe if you want more content. And as always, leave a thumbs up. It really helps the video out a ton. And it's much appreciated, much obliged. Let me know what you think or who's your top 10 in the comment section below. Let's have that nice, beautiful football discourse down there. But you're going to be getting my top 10 today, right? Unless you're a Bro Scout tier member, then you're going to get like 30 guys. So, just something to put out there. Also, there will be a Underdog Fantasy promo sometime in this video. If you like fantasy football, maybe Underdog might be for you, but we'll get into that when we get into that. I do want to go over a few guys real quick that I didn't include on my rankings, either because their sample size is really too small to get a grasp of where I would put them, or I think that they should return. And we're going to start with Tim Jones out of Connecticut. Connecticut, they didn't play last year. And the dude's been a stupid good run defender there for the Huskies, and he showed some pass rushing upside. I really just want to see him do it this year after a year off. And then I got Kalijah Cansey out of Pittsburgh. He's got a strange size, 6 foot 270, but need a bigger sample size of him. Just especially at that size, the guy's gonna have to put on weight, and he's only a redshirt sophomore, so could be growing, could be a growing boy. And then Zach Pickens out of South Carolina, just became a starter last year, and I thought his play was kind of everywhere. So year 2 of his starter, get more of a feel of who he is exactly as a player. And then Christopher Hinton out of Michigan. You've seen glimpses of pass rush upside with him, but another guy whose sample size was too small for me to really gauge. So let's go ahead and let's get into it. Starting the top 10, we got Tyler Davis out of Clemson. I was really tempted to put Travis Jones here from Connecticut, but again, I want to see one more season of Jones. Tyler Davis, you kind of know what you're getting. He split time between nose tackle and 3-tech there at Clemson. And yes, the dude lacks length. He doesn't necessarily have great size, but he makes up for it in power and agility, man. An ankle injury really slowed him down in 2020, and he's really looking for a bounce back year. If he could kind of like he's got a decent win rate. If he could kind of recapture that freshman season where he had like 31 pressures, then it could really help his stock out a ton. Currently got a 4th round grade on him. On to 9. Jordan Davis. This is the hot take. I know a lot of people were really high on Jordan Davis. I just happen not to be one of them. He's probably the best pure run stuffing nose tackle in this class. I think you can make an argument that T'Vondre Sweat out of Texas might be the actual top nose tackle in this class, just because he's got a bit of a pass rushing upside when it comes to what he can do athletically, opposed to Davis. I mean, Davis, he relies a lot on just being physically imposing, which he is, 6'6", 340. That's kind of hard for any offensive lineman to deal with. The dude's never played more than 300 snaps in a season, which tells me he might be just a 2-down player. And I know they're at Georgia. They're asked to like run contain there on the interior first and foremost, but I would still like to see some sort of pass rush upside from him. I don't think we just have. And even in the run game, the dude plays very high. I mean, at 6'6", yeah, you're typically going to play really high, but in the NFL, man, you're going to get knocked back, man. He's lucky he's got a stout base, but you can't let offensive linemen get leverage like that, especially in the run game. So there's just a few things I just really dislike about him that I couldn't put him any higher. But you love the size, and we'll see him again this year. So maybe that changes. Number 8, Phidarian Mathis out of Alabama. Things really came together for Mathis last season. He greatly improved as a pass rusher. Had 18 pressures, 3 sacks, and that was in a rotation role there too. So he's got that prototypical size and length that the NFL just loves at the interior. While I think he can really work in any scheme, I kind of want to see him at 3-4 end at that 5 tech. I find that fascinating. So that kind of like kind of rumbles my jimmies. I don't even know if that's a term. Is what it is. Stellar run defender. He really boasts some impressive upper body strength. Hand usage is pretty impressive. Just he's not quick, man. He's not quick on. There's really no get off to him. And there are times where he will get out leveraged in the run game. Few and far between, but still something you might I wanted to bring up. And then at number 7, Kobie Whiteside out of Mizzou. I'm a sucker for Kobie Whiteside. The dude's a 5th-year senior, and he looked extremely good in 2018 alongside Jordan Elliott. Now, I guess it would have been 2019. Yeah, what am I saying? 2018, 2019. Now, last season, things were it wasn't ideal. Now, I love Jordan Elliott as a prospect, but when it comes to Whiteside doesn't have that length or the height of Elliott, but he has the production. He produces well. Like the dude without Elliott next to him, his production didn't dip. Like the first 2 games this season versus Alabama and Tennessee, he had a 17% win rate, which you're going to find out is pretty good for an interior player. He's got great versatility. He's played anywhere from 0 tech to 5 tech. He did end up getting hurt in 2020, unfortunately, but he returned later on, never looked fully healthy. So really banking on this season. I was pretty high on him last season, and then he got hurt. So we'll see. We'll see with this season if things come to fruition. I feel like he's in that late day 2, early day 3 area. Number 6, Cory Durden. I love him transferring to NC State. First off, Aleem McNeil may have been one of my most favorite prospects last season out of NC State. And NC State, they've been producing some D-line talent in the last couple of drafts. So the move I thought was the correct one for Durden, especially after last season. Just he didn't look that good last season, and not a lot of players on that Florida State team looked good. Not a lot of NFL prospects from last season looked good for Mike Norvell and the Florida State Seminoles. Is what it is. I think transferring to NC State was a stellar move. He has the NFL body type, 6'5", 315, great length, very explosive. That's probably one of the things that stands out most is how explosive he is. But I want to see, not necessarily, he doesn't have to return to that 2019 form because he was ridiculous in 2019. 45 pressures, 7 sacks? Like, dude, if that's unbelievable. I think that he comes in and does that, man. I'm thinking fringe first round. But as is with him being 6'5", many blockers like to get under him. He doesn't exactly have the best contact balance. He is very much a bull in a china shop. You're gonna hear that term everywhere when it comes to these guys that they're explosive. They come rumbling and tumbling in, but the thing is tumbling in. Yeah, bull in a china shop is like the perfect. I love that phrase. It's just a good phrase, but I like him a lot, and I expect him to really improve his draft stock this season. Let's take a moment to talk about today's sponsor, Underdog Fantasy. Underdog Fantasy is the easiest and the best place to go play fantasy football for big cash prizes. Ooh, and let me tell you, Underdog, they got you covered. All you have to do is draft. No need to worry about injuries, waivers, or lineups. Underdog, they got you covered. So go online or use the app, which is pretty slick, and just draft a season-long best ball team, and they take care of the rest. No in-season management required. And they're willing to give you $25 when you sign up so you can take a shot in their $1 million fantasy football tournament, or you can play in some other best ball leagues or even make prop bets. Now you get that free $25 on Underdog when you use the promo code BROSCHMO. It's free to sign up, so use promo code BROSCHMO. Bam, you get your $25 once you make your first deposit. So drop a buck in there, bam, you got $26. You big spender, y'all baller. But go ahead, support Underdog. It helps me out. It's always much appreciated, much obliged. And if you're looking for more fantasy content from me, check me out on TikTok at BroSchmo. The link's in the description below. Then on to the top 5, starting with Haskell Garrett. A lot of people probably want him higher, but there's there's some good talent in this class. Hear me out. Now with him, he is a former 4-star recruit from the 2017 recruiting class. This past season, he finally eclipsed that 300 snap total that you'd like to see these interior guys get to. He did it at 307. Nailed it. Granted, it was like a shortened season for Ohio State, so he probably would have crushed it. Anyway, he had the second highest win rate of any interior player outside of Christian Barmore, who was obviously first, but at 17.9. So suddenly you look at Kobie Whiteside's 17% win rate, and you're like, oh, so that is good. Yes, it's good. I'm just saying. Now, ideally, he's probably a penetrating 3 tech. Just given his size, he's got that Tyler Davis size at 6'2", 300 pounds. He's very good against the run. He's very good at recognizing what's going on in front of him and playing as such. He uses his hands very well. Good agility on him. You really hardly will ever see him be a non-factor in plays, but there are times where like he doesn't have the greatest anchor, which I'd like to see him get a bit lower. And you think that won't be a problem at 6'2", but he a big boy. Doesn't handle double teams great. That's why I kind of said I'd rather see him as a penetrating 3 tech. So yeah, I like Haskell Garrett. I just think some of the guys in front of him are pretty stellar. And we're gonna start with number 4, Logan Hall out of Houston. This is pure projection. I'm gonna say it right now. You're probably not gonna see him this high on anyone's rankings, which is fair. I just happen to really like this guy. He played mainly 3 tech there at Houston, playing alongside Peyton Turner, and he's very similar to Peyton Turner in some regards. I just really wish Hall would get some snaps on the outside, because at 260, you're not going to be able to hold up on the interior. You're going to have to add weight if you want to play on the interior. I want to see Houston just unleash him on the edge. I would really like that. So I'm kind of intrigued. But he was a nightmare in terms of pass rushing last year. 18 pressures, 1 sack. Great length, great athleticism. The one little nitpick is when he did face probably the most experienced offensive line he faced last year was BYU. And he got creamed in the run game, man. He got demolished. But he's sitting there playing the interior. You know what? I honestly think that edge might be his role. So we'll see if he puts on weight or if Houston kicks him to the outside more. That's something to watch. Again, this is a projection on my part. I'm just a big fan of his game, man. And then Perrion Winfrey out of Oklahoma, former JUCO transfer, really emerged as a great pass rusher on an already scary, threatening Oklahoma offense or defensive line. It'll be really worth monitoring how the return of Jalen Redmond will affect his snap total there. But the dude's got a very explosive first step. He's a very twitchy player. He couldn't get, like, if he couldn't get by a blocker, he was typically out of the play altogether. That's why you didn't really see him too much in the run game. Which that was kind of like one of the many death nails in Christian Barmore's stock last season, where he fell to the second round. Some of it was some character stuff, and part of it was they didn't think he was on the field enough on rundowns or running situations. So that's kind of what Winfrey was last year. He was brought in to be kind of the pass rush specialist on the interior, at which he was. I know you're gonna be like, he didn't register a sack. Well, neither did Odafe Owe, and the dude was getting pressure. Winfrey, 27 pressures last season. Now, we'll see. Can he play the run? Hopefully he gets that opportunity more so this year than he did last year. But I really do like the explosiveness, and just this guy, man, on contact could just pop guys, man. Just good hand popping. Such a weird way to put it. Number 2, Jermayne Lole out of ASU, man. ASU, they got some good talent this year, man. Watch out. Watch out. This isn't going to be the last ASU guy you see on these rankings, but the dude gets great leverage there. At 6'1", you kind of expect him to, but he's got a very quick first step. Often he is at first at the point of contact. Big fan of that. Low center of gravity allows him, again, leverage. It's kind of his game. It literally is. He's one of the better 3-techs in this class, but he's really played a variety of different roles on that defensive line for ASU because they've gone through scheme changes over the past few seasons. Now, he's going to be a very good run stuffer. Improved very much this season, though, as a pass rusher. Guy through 4 games, because the Pac-12 was stupid and had that really small season, 18 pressures, 4 sacks. Now, he doesn't have ideal length, and sometimes he lets offensive linemen dictate where he puts his hands. So that'll be something to monitor. There's also at times he doesn't really he won't really pick the right guy to block. Like, he allowed a few stunts to like go up right through the middle. I'm trying to think specifically, what game did I see that in? They played all of 4. It was one of them. I don't know. You could go check my scouting report on him on Blue Chip Scouting. Yeah, bluechipscouting.com. I'm writing there some of their Pac-12 scouting profile, so check that out. Look at that, another plug. Number 1, everyone knew, DeMarvin Leal. He's one of my favorite prospects, blue chip prospect. Got him as a top 5 guy. I'm in love with him. I kind of talked about Logan Hall, like, man, don't really know if he's an interior guy or he's an edge guy. Leal, he has no problem. He can do both. He's mainly played outside of the tackle. 375 of his 485 snaps came outside of the tackle. He's doing this at 390. Great athleticism. Very explosive. He brings the power. I love how this guy uses his hands. He's got magic hands, baby. He uses them in a variety of different ways. Hand usage just off the charts. Great movement skills. I mean, dude, no guy's really getting under this dude's pads. Easily top in the class. Like, he is a difference maker. I feel good if you want to put him on the edge. I think he'll succeed there. If you want to throw him on the interior, he'll succeed there. Like, man, I'm gonna need a cigarette after talking about this guy. If we want to nitpick, there are times when often his first rush or his first pass rush move doesn't necessarily work. They get kind of caught up. He kind of relies a lot on that just his physical tools to get it done, that he doesn't necessarily have a plan B. But honestly, like, we saw Quiddy Pay last season over just like, I think he played like 4 or 5 games. Greatly improve in terms of his hand counters and just his rush counters. So we could see the same thing with Leal, but again, we're nitpicking at this point. He's a fabulous prospect. There's a reason he's number 1. There's a reason I put him at top 5, and he's technically a defensive interior prospect. But let me know what you think in the comment section below. That's it for the video. Go ahead, do that YouTube thing. It's always much appreciated, much obliged. And until next time, you be easy, my friends. Later.